Number 1. How do you know that the triangle with side lengths 6, 8, and C is a right triangle? So that's looking at this triangle here. How do we know that that is a right triangle? We know that it's a right triangle because the base of the prism is a rectangle, and all rectangles have 90-degree angles. Number 2. How do you know that the triangle with side lengths C, 24, and D is a right triangle? So we're looking at this triangle here, C, 24, and D, the big triangle in the middle. When we look at side C, this C line is perpendicular to the corner. A perpendicular line forms a 90-degree angle. Number 3, use the Pythagorean theorem to write equations to find the values of C and D. Find the value of C and then find the value of D. So this is using the first method in class that I taught you, where you use both triangles. So we would plug in a squared plus b squared equals c squared. And we can plug in our numbers. 6 squared plus 8 squared equals c squared. 6 squared is 6 times 6, which is 36. 8 squared is 8 times 8, which is 64. 36 plus 64 is 100. Take the square root of 100 and you get 10. C is equal to 10. Then you can plug it in again. A squared plus b squared equals c squared. Plug in the number 10 that you got for C and the number 24 for your height. 10 squared is 100, 24 squared is 576, 100 plus 576 is 676. Take the square root and D is equal to 26. Make sure that you showed all of your work on that problem and that you took up at least half of your space in numbers 1 and 2. Number 4. Between what two whole numbers is the length of the diagonal from M to N in the rectangular prism? So we can take our Pythagorean theorem for 3D shapes and plug in our answers. 6 squared plus 8 squared plus 12 squared is going to equal c squared for the big diagonal N to M. 6 squared, 6 times 6 is 36. 8 squared, 8 times 8 is 64. 12 squared is 144. You add up all of our numbers, 36, 64, and 144, and you get 244. The square root of 244 is between 15 and 16. So that would be between 15 and 16 centimeters long. Number 5. Tyler wants to ship a fishing pole that is 7 feet long. He will use a box that is a rectangular prism with a base that is 4 feet by 3 feet. What is the shortest whole number height that will hold the fishing pole? Explain. So we first are going to show for the smaller triangle across the bottom. That would be where we plug in 4 squared plus 3 squared equals c squared. 4 squared is 16, 3 squared is 9, 16 plus 9 is 25. You take the square root and c equals 5. Then you can plug in the other problem, except this time you're already given the diagonal 7. So when we plug it in, 5 squared plus d squared equals 7 squared. We're missing the side length here. 5 squared is 25, 7 squared is 49. 49 minus 25, because when we combine like terms, they are on opposite sides, so you do the opposite operation. You subtract 25, you get 24. The square root of 24 is between 4 and 5, so the least whole number value that makes this true is 5. It needs to be taller than the length of the pole, so it needs to be higher than 24. The next square root is 25. The square root of 25 is 5. 5 is the least whole number. Number 6, write a real-world problem about a rectangular prism that can be solved using the Pythagorean theorem. Then solve your problem. Okay, you can create whatever problem you would like. I would do something similar to number 5. I'm going to make up a problem that I am going to fit a 12-inch ruler to fit in a box. That's a rectangular prism. It has a width of 3 inches and a length of 5 inches and a height of 10 inches. Does the ruler fit in the box? I could solve it by finding the Pythagorean theorem and doing 3 squared plus 5 squared plus 10 squared. 3 squared gives me 36, 3 squared gives me 9, 5 squared gives me 25, and 10 squared gives me 100. The square root of 134, because that's always our last step, is larger than 12. And so the 12-inch ruler will not fit. The box will be too small. Again, you could have any type of problem, but make sure you write the problem and solve it.